Good morning, guys. Obviously, I am not at school today with you in person, but I can be here in spirit. So I would like you to follow sub's rules and the rules of the classroom so I can get a good report when I get back on Wednesday. And this video will hopefully explain what we're going to be doing today since we are in block schedule. The first thing we need to do today is turn in your Persia comic strip. I do not need the article. I do need you to make sure that your name is on your cartoon or your comic strip. Make sure you have everything there that's needed. When you get called up to turn in your work, please bring it up. If it's late, it is what it is. You get the % off and you bring it in tomorrow. Okay, let's start with that. After we do notes, after you turn in your work, we're going to watch a very quick Horrible Histories called Wife Swap based off of Athens and Sparta values, and then we'll go on from there. Okay, you have turned in your work. You are ready to go. Next thing that we are going to do after this video is take an open note quiz to see what you know. It is open note, so if you've been taking notes and keeping track of your things, then you should be okay. I need everybody to get a single sheet of paper out. Make sure the first thing you do is put your name on it. Number it 1 through 8. Now this quiz is going to cover from pages 60 to 69. So take your time, think about what the key words are asking you in the question. Give you about 15 to 20 minutes to do this. So once you're done with the quiz, make sure that your name is on it. Turn it in. Get out a read book or something to work on, maybe that extra credit that you received on Friday, and we'll move on at the end of the time, okay? Okay, so now we're going to go ahead. You've turned in your quiz, you've turned in your comic strip. We're going to go ahead and pull out your architecture article. It says Ancient Greek Architecture, has some columns on it. On Friday when we met, we had read the first page to learn about the types of columns and the other aspects of Greek architecture. So now, if you have not looked at the second page before, let's go ahead and take a look at that. It says School Building Makeover. This is going to be due on Friday, so go ahead and put that down. Step 1, you're going to be given a sheet of tracing paper, You're going to lay it on top of the photocopy of your school, so the tracing paper will go right on here. Do not draw on this paper. You draw on the tracing paper. You probably want to go very lightly with a pen or a pencil. Tape the tracing paper to your table with the masking tape, with tape, so pages do not move around. So it's very important that you keep everything very settled so that they match up. Step 2, you can pick, am I going to draw Doric or Ionic or Corinthian columns or a little bit of both on the building or walkway? When you're done going over it with a pencil, then add to it with a pen or a marker. Then I'd like you to add other Greek features to the front of our school, a pediment and a frieze. Add a statue in the front yard. So let's say that the front yard is right here. That would go along with our school. So mascots, maybe important symbols of the school or people of the school, whatever the case may be. And then lastly, trace over the lines from the school building to make the picture look complete. You might want to add people walking in, plants, signs, anything that you think the front of the building should have. Now, that is what you're going to do on the tracing paper and with the picture of the school. On a piece of paper that you will staple to your school building, please show me how this type of architecture, wait a minute, that isn't, let's back up. Okay, step 3, it says draw other Greek architectural features, the pediment and the frieze. If you don't remember what those are, you turn the page. Add a statue in the front that would go along with the school. Now the front yard, we will go ahead and say this is the front yard. A statue, think mascot, think people, think what the school stands for. So you are allowed to be creative there. And then lastly, you're going to trace over the other lines of the school building. So things that are already here, you would trace over on the tracing paper so that your tracing page actually looks like a building and not just a bunch of lines. You could add students and adults walking into the school, plants, signs, anything that you think the building should show. Now this direction at the bottom, I'm not liking this. As I look at it, it says Lastly, on a piece of paper, you will staple to your school building. I don't really think that you need to do that. You can cross that out. Please cross out the following. On a piece of paper, you will staple to the school building. You don't need to do that. The rest we're going to do. Please show me how this type of architecture connects to the life in USA Today. Find an example of each type of column on a present-day building. You can either print out a picture, or you could just give me the name of the building down below and the website where it was found. So, for example, I would probably Google examples of Doric columns found in the USA. When a picture comes up, you need to click on it so that you can get the name of the building, and then you're going to write down the website. Okay? You do that for the Ionic column and the Corinthian column. All right, so you should have about 30 minutes to work on this assignment today. Tracing paper is limited, so please take your time. I do have some rulers in the back of the room, but it's first come, first served. I don't mind if you spread out, but we need to be on track, okay? So let's get started there, and after 30 minutes, you guys should be taking about a 3 to 5 minute break, okay? Okay, I hope you got a chance to get up and move around, use the restroom, get a drink, whatever the case may be. We are moving on now. Another achievement of Greece that we talked about last week were the inventions of philosophy and the philosophers coming out of ancient Greece. These were people that were not necessarily concerned with the mythology to explain how things work, but were looking really at logic and, working it out through science. So the three philosophers I'm going to ask you to read about are Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. You should be getting a copy of a handout that looks like this. It has Socrates on the front. Please put your name on it. And the due date for this is also Friday, but you have time to work. So if you're using the time in class, you should be fine. Okay? Now, what I would like you to do is number your passages. We have 4 passages on the front. You have 1 passage about Plato, and it looks like about 2 passages on Aristotle. All right? Break it down. I would like you to read each passage, and off to the side, in 9 words or less, please summarize what is the main idea. Philosophy can be hard because there's not always a complete 100% one right answer with it. There can be many answers. It's to make you think outside yourself, think about things you've never really thought about, come at it with a different perspective. So you really do need to take time to understand what this is. When you get done, there is a sheet to go over on the back. Looks like this. This is what's due on Friday. So this is replacing our history talk because we're running out of time. So you'll just be turning this into me instead. We've got some questions directly from the article. What don't we know about Socrates? What do we know about him? How did he choose to learn? What happens to him? How does he connect to our world today? Plato, same thing. You're pulling the evidence directly from the article. Then you have Aristotle. Now, I do ask you at the end to tell me how to apply one of Aristotle's philosophies. So go back, maybe highlight it, talk about it with someone at your team or at your table, and work through it. Lastly, it says pick 2 of Aristotle's sayings, illustrate in color, and explain the meaning behind each on the back. So on the back side, I have left room for that. Aristotle's sayings can be found in the bullet points on the Aristotle section of your article. Okay? Once again, I'm going to give you about 30-35 minutes to work on this. That should be a pretty good chunk of time. I don't mind if you want to work with a partner, or your substitute may say, hey, just read with the people seated at your tables, or maybe just on your own. So that is up to the person that is here today. Okay? Okay, I hope you have put away your Greek architecture and your philosophy. All of that needs to go into your purple homework folder at this point. Both are due on Friday. Extra credit, Greek writing, if you chose to do it, is also due by Friday as well. Last thing that you need to do today is get out your red notebook. You're going to number the pages 69 and 70. Both of those pages need to be titled Alexander the Great. you're going to have a video to watch the notes. Remember, you need to write down everything that's in red. What I would like to have happen is that the video would be turned on, pause it, you will take a moment to write down everything, and once you're done writing, hit play and listen to it. And when the next slide comes up, you pause it, write, and then listen again. And that should get you going. So this should give you plenty of things to do today, and I hope it's been a good day for you. And if you have questions, then I will talk to you tomorrow. Okay?